Hi everyone, this is your favorite friend Jay or Jaylan Salah as you formerly know her, film critic at Geek Vibes Nation and In Session Film. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing director Jeff Knight about his film The Omicron Killer, which is a slasher thriller, but also a very campy and funny film. I really enjoyed watching it. And Jeff, I want first to say, how are you doing today? And thank you for talking to me.
Well, I'm doing good, and thank you for giving me the interview.
Okay, so I want to know what brought into your mind the idea of an Omicron COVID killer. It was just a very funny concept to me, and at the same time, it's also very morbid when you think about it. So, what brought the idea
Yeah,
to you?
it is morbid. Like a lot of people, when they think of COVID and Omicron, they want to shy away from it. Like we don't want to talk about that, especially now because it's been years, So we kind of had a hard time pitching the movie to distributors because they say nobody wants to hear about that anymore. It's like they kind of want to pretend that it didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like 9/11. Remember when after 9/11, they started erasing all the Twin Towers from all the movies and stuff? Well, I mean, it happened, so it's part of history now.
Exactly. I totally
The,
agree.
oh, the idea. You wanted the idea. The idea came from I was at a bank and everybody was wearing masks. And I was thinking, man, anybody could rob this bank and they wouldn't even know until you were at the teller. So I had an idea about a guy robbing banks using the COVID mask. But I knew I couldn't make it because it's too expensive on an independent budget. So I changed it from a bank robber to a killer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I love what you just mentioned because I think masks, in a way, they reveal, they conceal, making actors act in masks is something that could be constricting and could be liberating at the same time. And we see a lot of masks in this film. So how do you direct your actors to give their all, to express the emotions when you know half of their faces will be hidden all the time?
Well, that's why if you watch the movie, we had to have, even when I was writing the script, I had to consciously make a decision of when they could take their mask off or who can wear a mask and who can't. Because in real life, some people just didn't wear them. And most of the people put it on their chins. So like writing and then while we were filming, we had to say, okay, you come in, you have your mask, and then you take it down. Or you put your mask on when you come in, or you have it on your chin, or you don't wear a mask. So it was hard trying to come up with who's gonna wear the mask, who's not gonna wear a mask, because you can't hear people talk when they're wearing those masks.
Yes.
Their audio is muffled. So it was difficult trying to decide who and what can wear a mask when and where.
Okay, so you wrote this with Poe Shadow. Like,
Yes,
okay, so and he's the titular character. He is the
yes, yes.
Omicron. So what brought this collaboration? And also, how did you find him? Because he is very good for the role, seriously.
And he's big. He's okay. So the first movie is called The COVID Killer. And I wrote, like I said, I was in the bank. I came up with an idea and I wrote about 20 pages. But then I realized I couldn't film it because I didn't have any money. So I talked about the idea with a friend of mine who's also a filmmaker. And he said, you know what? I'll put the money in. It wasn't a lot. It was really low budget, the first one. But he said, I like the idea and I'll put the money up. But the problem was this guy's a little weird. So I collaborated with him, but the first thing he did was take my 20 pages and throw it out the window. And he wanted to basically freestyle the whole movie.
What?
So the movie went from my film to our film to it was his film. So we shot it for like 8 days in the Bronx. And when I was done, I hated it because it wasn't what I wanted to do. So on the drive home, because I live upstate New York, I started thinking of ways to fix the movie, which I did fix it, not as much as I wanted to, but I came up with an idea about copycat COVID killer because I couldn't use any of the actors that my friend came up with. So I immediately thought of Paul Shadow because he's gigantic. He's 6'6" and he's a great actor. So I said, okay, I got a good actor, big guy, because I wanted my killer to be big. the COVID killer is a small little guy. I wanted the Omicron to be a big guy. I mean, he's not a small guy. He's about my size, but you know, killers should be big.
You wanted him to be
So
menacing, very threatening.
yeah, they should be threatening and intimidating. So I called up Pa, and he didn't like the other filmmaker neither. So we both had a similar hate for that man. So we teamed up and we started rewriting the first movie, and then we shot those scenes and we implemented them into the film, and we came up with the copycat, which is what he was. So then we immediately thought about making a sequel, but we couldn't use the name Copycat COVID Killer because it's a stupid name. And so we came up with the title Omicron because Omicron is a variant of COVID. So we said, you know, you're going to be the next, that's my dog.
It's okay.
You're going to be the successor to the COVID killer, so you should be more lethal and more scary. AJ, shh. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, this is totally awesome. So, and your inspiration for the killer look, this is what I want to know. Like the hair, like the overall look of the character. Where did you get it? Like, was there an inspiration from maybe old school like horror movies, or maybe a character you've seen, or did you just come up with it? Did you have a costume designer or makeup for this film, or you just
No, we did. So what happened was the first movie, he just was a COVID mask. So I immediately thought, next movie, like after COVID ends, we can't just have him wearing a COVID mask. It's corny and cheesy. It works for the first film because it was the pandemic, but after that, it's not going to work anymore. So I had an idea of him, of the copycat, which is the Omicron, wearing a mask with a skeleton on it, which was still corny and cheesy. So I'm going to give credit to one of my producers. His name is Chris Gudadaro. He was a producer on like Terrifier and Stream.
Wow.
And he came up with the idea. He's like, if we're going to have a mask for the killer, it has to be iconic, like Jason. Like, I don't know if you know, and Jason didn't get his hockey mask to the third movie.
Yeah.
The first two movies I think he wore like a paper bag over his head, so we were like, we got to give him an iconic mask. So Chris, he's seen my mask, which was a regular COVID mask with a skeleton on. He's like, no, that's garbage. So he went and he had a professional like mask maker, like make the mask from scratch. Like they molded it. So they gave us some ideas. They drew some, conceptual ideas, and it came out great. The mask is like $400 each.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. And then I told Shadow, I said, you have to grow your beard because the mask is big. So with the beard, it fits on the mask properly. And then his hair is all disheveled and he looks unkempt. But that's what makes him an iconic killer.
Definitely. You know? So I really liked what you said about horror and how sometimes it could be like just not personal or, like singular fears, but more of an environmental and social commentary on fears. So I felt that this movie also kind of like put us in the paranoia state or the state of ominous fear that we felt during the COVID, with the idea of a serial killer, of course, which is like someone lurking in the shadows, ready to strike. So I want to know your opinion. Do you think that horror movies can be used to kind of like bring out more ideas, more thoughts into global or social paranoia? And
yeah, absolutely. When we were making this idea, our idea for this movie was, of course, like I said, slasher films like Jason and Michael Myers, but also, it's gonna sound weird, but our idea was, our main inspiration was the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas. Remember that movie Falling Down?
Okay, I need to revisit that movie. Okay.
Say it again.
I need to revisit it. I need to revisit that movie. I haven't
seen it. So Falling Down was a movie with Michael Douglas, and it's about a guy who he's stuck in traffic one day, and his wife leaves him, and he can't see his kid, and his job is just like, I think they fire him, and he just has a breakdown, like a nervous breakdown. He leaves his vehicle, and he decides he's just not going to be part of society anymore, and he starts to just walk around and just do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He kills some people, but he also just he makes a commentary on like our social at that time our social environment and how people like him are just not appreciated. You know what I mean? So our idea was to make that movie into a horror movie. So the killer, the Omicron, is everybody picks on him. I remember the movie. Everybody just
Mean to him.
literally,
Exactly.
he's not the villain in the movie. Yeah, he's actually, if you really think about it, he's kind of the protagonist. Like everybody in the film treats him horribly.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. He's kind of picked on and bullied.
Hello? I think
Hello, can you hear me?
we broke up a little bit there.
Okay, so I tell you, like everybody picked
Yeah.
on him, and
Yeah,
he
now
was
I can. Go
bullied.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
He's bullied.
Yes.
He's bullied by, so in the beginning of the movie, he doesn't want to kill anymore. And then he gets robbed by 3 guys and they break his leg and put him in the hospital.
And people
And then the
keep calling
doctor
him stupid.
tortures him. And then the kids want to kill him, you know? Hello?
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me? Or
Hello?
can you hear me?
Oh, I lost you there for a minute.
Okay. Am I breaking up?
Yeah,
Can you
now
hear
I
me?
can.
Okay, cool. So this is what I'm telling you. I tell you, like everybody, even people were
I can hear you now, yeah.
okay, people were even calling him stupid all the time. So yeah, he was like being hello. So people kept calling him, like people were mean to him. People
That's
kept
my
calling
son,
him
yeah.
hello.
Hello.
Okay. So yeah, this is what I liked. Like he was getting like the butt end of society. So he kind of like gets up and starts, you know, like giving it back. So this is what I like. It is a very revenge style in a way.
Yes. Yeah, I lost you for a minute, but I got kind of what you were saying.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, totally. Totally. Like totally.
Hello? Oh yeah, I lost you for a minute. All I heard was revenge.
Yeah, what I said is like he's the kind of character you see getting the butt end of society. Like everybody just being mean to him, people calling him stupid, people keeping him
Yeah,
kind of like
everybody.
Yes. So he fights back. This is what it is.
Yes, exactly. He's a butt of everybody's joke. Everybody's trying to. And the funny thing is that he's a really big guy. So you would think that people wouldn't pick on him. But you know what's funny is that we got the idea because in real life, Paul Shadow is always getting picked on. And I never understood that. I'm like, you're sick. He's 6'6", weighs over 300 pounds, and people feel the need to try and like bully him or like ridicule him, antagonize him. Yes.
And kind of like I don't know, maybe it makes him less intimidating to them. Like maybe this is something they sense he is a peaceful man, so they start, you know, like pushing rather than just trying to understand or trying to make it. I think it kind of like gives a commentary on the stupidity of, you know, like normalcy in society and how sometimes people are mean for no reason. I think with something they don't understand or someone they don't understand. And I like that.
Especially with social media. You know, social media, everybody wants to bully everybody, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you either a thumb down or a thumb up, you know?
Exactly. And I think the film kind of like gives away this mindset as well. Like it kind of like puts it on display in a way. So okay, so there are a lot of intense scenes in this film. How did you as a director ensure the safety of your actors so that they can be vulnerable and be in intense situations, but at the same time feel safe to create and just showcase their talents and performances?
Well, I mean, like we had a limited budget, so we couldn't really hire anybody. But you know, we took precautions. You know what I mean? Like when he's choking the girl, well, no, actually, he wasn't choking her. Remember the scene in the bathtub when the girl he stabs the girl with the crowbar?
Yes.
Originally, he was choking her underwater.
Oh.
But it didn't look right because we didn't want him actually choking the girl, and we had nobody on set to help, so it looked really fake. So we cut it out of the film. He just now in the movie he just stabs her with the crowbar and she kind of falls down and dies. But like you said, it's hard, you know, with safety on set when you don't have a really big budget and you can't hire anybody. So we had to take those jobs ourselves and make sure that people were safe because there's a lot of killings, a lot of stabbings and shootings and
Exactly. Lots of intense situations for actors, you would imagine.
yeah. A lot of breaking necks too.
Yes, yes. And that's the more fun about it. Like it's a fun movie because it has a lot of violence, but it's really like cool violence. It's not even, like violence that makes me, I don't know, like uncomfortable. Like, no, come on, give me more.
Yeah, no, I like horror movies, but I don't like gory. I don't
Me
like gore. So I wanted to make it more fun, and like I said, in the vein of Jason, where he's going after people and killing them, but not where we got to show their guts spilling out and all kinds of crazy shit. Like I'm not into torture porn. I'm not
Yeah,
into that.
yeah. I hate torture porn too. Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Yeah, and it like it leaves a lot to the imagination too, which I like. So,
Of
okay.
course, your imagination makes things way more than what they are, and we wanted to make, like you said, a fun movie. I wanted to make a fun, classic, like 80s, 90s movie. Some of these
Exactly.
movies now, and a lot of them are good, but they try to be too serious, and you got to have some fun when you're making a horror movie. I mean,
Exactly, exactly. Especially a slasher genre. You just want to have
especially a
fun and make
slasher movie.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. So my last question for you is what was the most difficult scene for you to shoot? And also which scene that you were shooting and you felt really good about yourself and the movie and you felt like, wow, I really love this movie. I love this scene. I love myself as a director.
My answer to both those questions is the same scene.
Wow.
It's the final scene in the movie. Not after the credits, but like the final showdown. I'm not going to
Mm.
tell you. I don't want to ruin the movie, but
Spoiler
the final,
alert.
yeah, the final scene in the with the Omicron. I It took us 3 days to shoot that scene because we didn't get it right. We had to keep going back and reshooting that scene. You know what I'm talking about, in the hospital.
Yes.
When they put them in the hospital, we shot it 3 separate times, so that scene was threaded together from 3 separate days because we I wrote it one way, and then we filmed it a little bit different, and then we went back and filmed it again the way I originally wrote it because some things it wasn't working, and something because the scene it's a lot of action, and then it had comedy in it, so there was a balance. It had to have a lot of balance, but
It's a lot. It has a lot of
it
elements.
was difficult and it was fun, and that scene made me think, this is why I became a filmmaker.
Wow. This is a great answer. And this scene is like very enjoyable to watch. So I'm not spoiling anything, but I think everybody will just get their enjoyment from the film, watch the film, and just rave about it on social media too. Like talk about
Yes.
the Omicron killer, make him alive.
I appreciate that.
So thank you so much, Jeff. It was so much fun talking to you.
Oh, real quick, can I say one thing?
Definitely.
Hello?
Yes, I am here.
Oh,
Can you?
yeah. The movie was, no, my producer wanted me to say the movie was released yesterday at Fandango at Home.
Okay. So let's keep it up. Let's talk about the Omicron killer, like keep him
Yes,
alive.
Omicron Killer. And the next film, we're doing a spin-off called Crazy Clowning.
Okay. Okay. Now this is news. This is news. It's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
if you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes. Wow. And like, come on, just spread the word and enjoy.
Exactly. Go on Fandango at Home. The movie will be available to rent and buy. And then look forward to the next film, Crazy Clowning.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward. Thank you so much, Jeff. It was so awesome.
Thank you so much for interviewing me. You're a great host.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.